All right, Verdell. Hey, Verdell, I think it's the first time I've seen you here. What's the best way to market yourself when you're just starting out? Well, that depends on the answer to a number of questions. So, Verdell, what do you do?
Hello there. Thanks for the invite. I do a number of things. This decided me officially launching into doing it. Over the years, I've done a number of disparate things. I've done editing and copywriting. I've also done personal training. I've also been a speaker and facilitator, particularly in terms of people going through in like progressive religious spaces, like learning how to organize and just skill building and things like that. And after just some bumps and numerous bumps, I said, okay, look, this 9 to 5 thing, no, we're going to do it as long as we need to, just to keep things stable. But the goal is to work myself out of it. And so now I had an idea of, okay, well, I'm doing all these things. How do I do? So I said, okay, well, I'm just going to make it like services that I offer under one thing. And so I say, okay, well, Grand Avenue, since that was where I went to kindergarten and first grade, and I think the best part of my childhood. And so these are things that I've done before, that I've made money on before, but now I'm kind of a soft reboot, if you will, to use comic book terms. It's like kind of like a soft reboot. And so basically now just telling people no. And I've been telling people here and there when it makes sense, but now working to say, okay, look, this is what I'm doing. And like, this is my venture, or if you will, here are the things that I do. And I know I have some idea, like, for example, like things like personal training, you don't talk about in the same ways that you would doing communications consulting for, a nonprofit. But just having it all in one space is easier for me with my autism and ADHD to navigate it. But it's like, okay, I've done this, I've dabbled in it enough and seen success, but now it's about, okay, now to do this, taking it more intentionally, I'll say, instead of taking it seriously, to be more intentional about doing this, to get on like the best foot to get started, to build good practices, since this is going to be a part of my life on my own from moving forward.
Got it. So just to make sure I'm understanding, there's a number of businesses, there's a number of things you do, and you're wanting to sort of put them all out as things that you do that you're available for, but maybe have one website where they're all on there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The first thing is here's somebody I would talk to. His name is Alex Baisley with bigdreamprogram.com. And he's really good at helping people tie things together, and pull them together into sort of one cohesive offering. Because the question that you ask of, what's the best way to market yourself starting out? It's a different answer, not only for each of those types of businesses or types of offerings, but also depending on who you're trying to reach. So the first thing is I would talk to Alex or reach out to him. But number two is, while you're wanting to make money, I would just pick one of them. Maybe the one that you're some combination you're most passionate and you're most competent in, and you feel like there's the most demand in the marketplace. Just low-hanging fruit. What's the one that's like, I know I can make money and sustain myself on this? And while you're figuring out the rest of it, I would just pick one and work that. Do any one of those jump out to you as the obvious, like, this is the one I'd probably go with?
No, because I'm like doing them all concurrently in some way, even right now. So it's like, it's not an issue of which one do I start. They already are kind of moving, and these wheels have been turning already.
Yeah.
And engaging with people, already on these things. So I mean, I already, like, in my mind, I have it more set up in terms of what'll bring in the most money, and just in terms of just my own views on things too. Like, for example, doing the communication, advocacy, and organizing consulting work will likely bring in the most bang for the buck when it happens. Yeah. Just again, depending on the organizations that you're working with. Personal training is always something that's a bit I don't want to say tricky, but
Okay.
when you like have ethics about
Well,
it,
let
then
if you had to pick one that you would like my opinion on, which one would you like?
oh, I would say let's talk about the personal training, because I think that's the one where, given how I approach it, I would need some new thoughts and ideas, because I'm intentionally not trying to present it the way that a lot of other trainers do.
Okay. Who do you want to reach with this personal training?
So my ideal person I have in my mind is somebody who, um, one, has the money to pay, but maybe can't just drop $1,000 today. You know, if they had like a payment plan or something, they could do it. But paying for it, if they had like if they could break it up, they could pay for it, no problem. Who has had some experience in the gym, or maybe very little, but wants to work with somebody who has a more inclusive approach, who wants someone who can encourage them, who wants someone who can help them understand and gives them tips and tools to reach their goals. So less of a personal trainer and more of a fitness consultant is what I'd like to think of it as. And so this person, they're ready, they're interested in more information.
Yeah.
They just need the right person in the right situation to be able to engage high quality training, whether in person or virtual, and then they're good.
Okay, I got it. So here's the next step. This is the homework. There's a link here also called the puttering prep page. So when I do one-on-one sessions, this is the homework I give around niching and really honing the ideal client. So what I
Mm-hmm.
would urge you to do is to dive into the work on that page for the fitness thing in particular,
Mm-hmm.
because the answers to the rest of the questions will be found in your answers to the questions in that. Where do you start will depend on who you're trying to reach. And I think there's more clarity that could come in terms of who you're trying to reach. So let's leave it there. But
Mm-hmm.
thank you. Thanks for calling in, man.
That's perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.